Apologize to Ryan Szimanski. We really wanted to have him on tonight. We just simply ran out of time. So Ryan, hopefully we'll be able to have some time in the future to get you on. Our apologies to Ryan Szimanski from the Battleship New Jersey. Apologies to Ryan Szimanski of the Battleship New Jersey for not being able to get him on this week, but one of these days we'll have Ryan on. I'm sure he understands. Apologies to Ryan Szimanski at the Battleship New Jersey for not being able to fit him in this evening. We just ran long, so we'll try and get him in some other time. Appreciate his patience. Our apologies to Ryan Szimanski because we had Paul go long, had to bump Ryan from the Battleship New Jersey. We'll look forward to having him in the future.
I don't want to be
quick. I want to apologize to Ryan Szimanski for not being able to fit him in tonight, but Parks went along with his stories. We always appreciate him standing by, though. But again, our apologies.
Find a hole for him to climb into, and he'll show up.
I'd like to apologize to Ryan Szimanski for not being able to get him on tonight. One of these days, we'll get him on. I've got his email address now, so I'll start hunting him down. So we'll definitely want to apologize to Ryan Szimanski for not being able to fit him in tonight. Of course, he was traveling. We would have had him on, but he's heading to the COD in Cleveland, Ohio. We definitely, unfortunately, did not have time to let him join tonight. We're going to have to reschedule that and see if we can't get him on another time. Ryan from the Battleship New Jersey, sorry for bumping you.
You know, it's a shame we couldn't get to Ryan again, so...
Well, and our apologies. You know, Ryan always makes himself available in the event we have time for him. Unfortunately, Ryan Szimanski of Battleship New Jersey. There's always next time. Let's see. All right, tonight another episode of Museum Ship Mafia. My name is Ken Stana with YouTube channel History X. Another live crossover broadcast with 3 YouTube channels: the USS Slater, Buffalo Naval Park, and History X. You asked for it. Tonight, we're going to be talking about curators. Normally, we've got 3 on the show. Tonight, for some reason, we decided to add a 4th. We'll see how this goes. So people helping me tonight, we're going to start off with... What the hell happened to Shane? All right, so we're going to start off with John from the USS Slater. We've got Shane from the Buffalo Naval Park and Connor from the icebreaker Alexander Henry in Thunder Bay, Ontario. He's going to be spinning the dials and pulling the levers for us tonight. And so with all of the endings to the shows we've done in the past, apologizing to Ryan for not getting him on. Tonight, we're actually going to have Ryan Szimanski from the Battleship New Jersey joining us. Are you guys all settled in and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Did you recall that we had dismissed Ryan so many times?
Yes.
Oh, you did? All right.
I didn't know your montage would have been so long, though, so I kind of forgot how many times we actually did that.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was just a handful, but every time, you know, well, it's finally going to work. So tonight, like I said, Ryan Szimanski from the Battleship New Jersey. Happy to have him joining us. Before we do bring him on, I just want to remind everybody one of the simplest yet most effective ways to support YouTube channels like the USS Slater, like the Buffalo Naval Park. Ryan from the Battleship New Jersey is going to be on as well, is to simply click like and subscribe. We can't do this without subscribers and viewers, so definitely join us and throw your comments and questions in. Let us know what questions you want us to ask Ryan. More than happy to do so. And without wasting any more time, let's get him on here. So this is Ryan Szimanski with the Battleship New Jersey. Ryan, thanks for checking in with us tonight.
Thanks for finally letting me on. I've been sitting backstage here for 6 months now.
I don't expect you to know who we are, but we definitely know who you are. And you know, obviously is it simply curator, or are you also one of the directors for the Battleship New Jersey?
I am my current title is Vice President of Curatorial and Educational Affairs.
Okay. Meaning...
Which is way too much to say in the intro of a YouTube video.
So, well, how long have you been with the New Jersey?
It will be 6 years in January.
Okay. 6 years. Were you always there as a curator?
I was hired to be the assistant curator, but my predecessor had some medical issues, so after about 6 months in that role, I got fleeted up.
Okay. And I don't know if you're aware, but Shane from the Buffalo Naval Park, John from the Slater, and Connor from the Alexander Henry are also curators at their own museums.
I hate it.
What?
Why do you hate it?
I hate the title.
Why?
I prefer collections manager.
No, that's true.
I'm not smart enough to be a curator.
So, I mean, is that a lonely job, or is that a job that involves a lot of personal interaction?
Was that question to me or to the room?
It's to anybody, really. I mean, I've already prepared myself. Working with 4 curators, it's going to be like herding cats. So, I mean, you guys can go ahead.
Well, I'll start and just going to say I'm also the senior tour guide, so I haven't had much time to be a curator this year. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my job has been interacting with people this year. So maybe next year I'll know the answer to that.
Yeah, when I was in school, we always talked about a lone arranger, and that's kind of what I am. I have a department of 1 with thousands of artifacts across 3 vessels and the museum. So yeah, I really embrace the lone arranger sort of a moniker for the job.
Well, yeah, the ship and the artifacts are my friends.
Yeah, we already know John doesn't like to talk to the public much.
So sometimes they have to come down to my office just to make sure I'm still alive.
So what about you, Ryan? So as a curator, I mean, when you started 6 years ago, did you start also giving tours, or were you strictly on your own?
No, I took tour guide training here on the Battleship before I ever started working in the collections. So I think I'm more with Connor over there in have to give tours about as much as I spend with collections.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what do you love about the job?
Getting to explore the ship. That's what 4-year-old Ryan always wanted to do, is just explore a battleship.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Then the opposite, the flip side of that is, what do you hate about it? I mean, when you go to work in the morning, go, not this again.
Paperwork and staff meetings.
So right before you logged on with us tonight, you said you had a a quarterly board meeting?
We do them every 2 months, so 6 a year.
Okay, all right. So it's the board meetings, the staff meetings, the paperwork. That's the kind of stuff that kind of pulls on you.
It doesn't leave much time for everything else.
Well, really, yeah. For those of you that aren't aware, and I became aware of Ryan during the pandemic. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So I became aware of Ryan during the pandemic. Of course, everyone was on YouTube watching all kinds of different content because we're quarantined, right? And let me see if I can find this picture. You know what? I think I pulled up the wrong one. I think this is the one I wanted to find. So it's pretty interesting when you stumble across a new channel and you start checking out all the different videos. And then there's this guy that decided to start making, was it a video a day? Did you post like one video each day during the pandemic?
Yes. And then we dropped down to just 5 a week because 7 a week was too much.
Just 5 a week. That's a lot. But I think this was the first video I ever saw of yours. And you know, you go all over the Battleship New Jersey, but in this particular video, you actually decided to climb through one of the gun barrels. And
that was another thing that 4-year-old Ryan always wanted to do, and it would have been so much easier for him.
Yeah, but the problem with that is 4-year-old Ryan is a little bit smaller. Now, you're 6 foot, right?
Correct.
And like, I think in the video you said you were like 200 pounds.
Yep.
Why on earth did you do this?
I grew up watching documentaries about battleships, and every single one has a picture of the sailor coming out of the end of the gun barrel and giving a thumbs up. And so ever since I saw that for the first time, it's like, I want to do that.
And after you did it, what are your thoughts now?
I don't have to do it again.
I think I remember you saying a bunch of little kids had probably thrown rocks in there. Of course, it's very dirty. Look at your shirt. But from a practical standpoint, I mean, this isn't something that you can get rescued from. It's hardened steel. It's a gun barrel. And it took you about 15 minutes to crawl through this thing. What were you thinking while you were in the middle of it?
Well, first of all, we did have an EMT on standby, and we did have a rope tied around my ankles. And we did test it after I crawled in a certain amount. We saw if they could yank me back. And it was not comfortable, but it worked. I enjoy caving. I do that in my free time, but the air was very different inside the gun barrel. Like there was a little bit of a breeze outside. As soon as you get inside the gun barrel, that just the air is not moving, and I found out that is the point at which I get claustrophobic.
Oh, okay. So did you just have to? Obviously, you just powered through it.
I sat there in the muzzle, or excuse me, in the breech end for about 5 minutes. We were trying to decide, do we want to keep going or do we not want to? And fortunately, I climatized at that point and felt comfortable continuing.
We just, Cece just posted this comment here, which reminded me, in the video, you described you couldn't have your shoulders square to the gun barrel. You had to decide which shoulder you wanted to go forward, right? Because you had to have them at an angle.
Correct. We took my measurements before we started. I think that's the first couple minutes of the video, and we found out that I am 19 inches across the shoulders, and of course, it's a 16-inch gun barrel.
Oh.
So, Shane, why haven't you done this?
Well, because we just have a 6-inch, on the Little Rock would be the biggest. I mean, I've climbed into torpedo tubes before, not on the Croaker, but in the Cobia. That was fun. I would like to do it. I would be 23 inches across on the shoulders. But yeah, I could not climb into a 5-inch or a 6-inch gun. So the torpedo tubes I can fit into. So.
Why haven't you done your torpedo tubes yet?
I just haven't done it yet. Too busy lone arranging.
Oh, really? All right.
Okay, guys.
I
will put it into my cadre and my index of videos to do, and I will choose a torpedo tube. And I've been talking about it. We just go in and just check out, if there needs to be any restorative work or anything like that. So maybe we could just parlay it into a video.
Yeah, I thought. I don't have a gun barrel torpedo tube to get into.
Yeah, but when you guys are crawling around your ship, I mean, I know I asked Shane about this. I'm extremely claustrophobic, so I wouldn't do it. But Shane, you mentioned that, you don't mind tight spaces. You crawl down into the engineering spaces on whichever ship you're climbing around on. And if you get stuck, you just have the mindset of, well, I got in here. I can somehow get myself out. Have any of you guys gotten stuck on your ship and it's like, I might need to call for help?
Not on mine.
John?
No, closest we have right now is James going into our bilges to clean them. But same mindset. He can get in, he can get out.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Any exploration on the New Jersey where you've maybe went further than you should have without telling anybody?
Yeah, on one occasion I went down into a fuel tank, and the ladders in the tanks are a pair of wires, and they've essentially got dog wrenches as the feet, and it was so rotted that the wires broke while I was on the ladder. So then I was having one of those "how do I get out of here" moments.
Wow.
And is this a situation where you have the I mean, you're constantly exploring, so I can't imagine before each little adventure you tell people, all right, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. make sure someone comes to look after, if I'm not back in a half hour, or do you just go?
No. Whenever we leave the tour route, we have a 2-man rule. And if for whatever reason something happens and we don't have 2 people, we radio another staff member and say, hey, I'm going down here. If you don't hear from me in 15 minutes, come look for me. And this was not for filming or anything. It was a maintenance project where I had a rope and a harness, and there were several other people around.
Oh,
yeah,
so
there's been a couple of. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Shane. Yeah.
No, that's all right. If you had a follow-up question.
Well, I was kind of surprised you said it was for a maintenance thing. So you actually do get involved in the ship maintenance. I mean, I've seen some of the videos where you're, observing, but you actually were doing some inspection.
Yes, I was the one who felt comfortable climbing in the hole, essentially. But the ship is one of the artifacts in the museum's collection. So as curator, I have a say in the restoration and maintenance of the vessel.
Okay. Shane, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I do not do that. Just because of the nature of our job, I just usually grab the camera and go. And there was one time it was weird. I was near the peak and I was alone and no one knew I was there. And I did get a little freaked out. I was able to extricate myself, but you get towards the peak tanks, right at the very front of the ships. It can get pretty tight in there, and just either going through a deck hatch or a door, it's pretty tight, and you have to kind of contort yourself a little bit, and there's no real lighting in there and anything. So I walked out of there and I said, I should never be doing that. I should, as Ryan just said, you let someone know. But I just usually have an idea, or I formulate the script, and I just go and do it in some sort of way. But we just don't have that manpower for someone to just stop what they're doing and to join me or whatever. But yeah, there's been 1 or 2 instances where I say, "Oh boy."
For those of you checking in with us tonight here on Museum Ship Mafia, we've got Ryan Szimanski from the Battleship New Jersey. Make sure you check out the website battleshipnewjersey.org. But more importantly, you can check out all the great content they've got on their YouTube channel. Go into the search bar on YouTube and just type in Battleship New Jersey, and you're going to find all kinds of stuff there. Ryan, one of the titles I put on tonight's broadcast was one of the first sentences that you guys have on your website, which is, it costs $10,000 a day to keep the Battleship New Jersey Museum going. What's the biggest cost you guys have over there at the New Jersey?
That's a good question. They don't let me touch the money. The maintenance of the vessel is probably the largest single cost collectively, and then probably staff payroll is the next biggest thing under there, and then climate control would probably be third.
Climate control.
Yeah.
What?
We have the best heating and air conditioning of any museum ship I've ever visited.
So, okay, so when you talk about climate control, you're talking about trying to make everything comfortable, air conditioning in the summertime.
I wouldn't say everything. Fortunately, the Navy installed air conditioning on the ship in the 80s, and we're able to run some of those systems in some of the museum spaces.
Okay.
And I know, John, you said the Slater gets pretty damn hot in the summertime.
Yeah, there's no air conditioning.
No air conditioning on the Slater?
Not even in Tim's office.
Whoa.
He wants a straight 1945.
Well, good thing we're coming down in fall then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was 95 degrees last Wednesday here. It was horrible.
Translate that to the rest of the world, please.
It was 95 degrees, Connor. That's all you need to know.
Minus 30, minus 32, then divide by 2, right? Is that what it is?
I think you're right.
That's
So
Celsius.
95. So let's see. So it was 30. It was 30 degrees Celsius. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Sorry, Ryan. We've got Connor's Canadian.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. So let's see. So you talked about some of the biggest expenses. Obviously, if anyone's been watching the Battleship New Jersey YouTube channel, the subject of dry dock has come up, and I think maybe an hour ago, John, what was it? You guys had a video go up on your YouTube channel, frequently asked questions about dry docking. Is that correct?
Ryan did.
No, I know. But you're the one that told me about it.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
Well,
Oh,
you just
So
told
Ryan,
me,
they
you
just
just
put up
told me
a
about it a
video.
half hour before we started. So no, I did not watch it. But all right, this has turned into a disaster. So,
so what's some of the, so what are some of the questions in the video then? I guess?
Exactly. Yeah. What are some of the FAQs when it comes to dry docking that you guys have had to, well, address?
I can really commiserate with Travis over on Texas on this. He's been telling me that they get the same questions over and over again, and we tend to get the same. It's when are we going to go? We don't have a date yet. When we have a date, everybody will know. Like, we will put it out on YouTube. We will put it out on social media. And then some really weird ones that we hadn't answered before because we thought it was so obvious. But then people started coming up with their own answers because the museum hadn't answered them. So where will the ship go when we come back from dry dock? We're coming back to where we are. This is where all of our infrastructure is. And I blame Travis for that one because he's not taking Texas back to where she came from.
That's right. Yeah. It's got a new slip, new dock, whatever you want to call it. So some of the, I guess some of the questions you've had to answer are some things that you just take for granted that everybody knows or everyone would, assume. But yeah, I can see why people would. Where's it going to go? It's going right back to where it was before. I mean, do you guys have it's in Camden, correct?
Correct.
And do you have like a long-term lease? Do you own the slip where it is? How does that work?
We built the pier and the visitor center where we are. We own that.
Okay.
A lot of our property is an easement from the county that we're allowed to operate on it.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then the
Was
other
this
thing,
was this the dry dock where she was actually constructed, Ryan?
Yes and no. She was built on a slip landside, but the day she was launched, they pulled her into this dry dock to put her propellers and rudders on.
Amazing.
so there is some history there then.
Okay.
Yes, it's also the dry dock that we were reactivated in 1967, 1968 for the Vietnam War.
Oh, wow.
So there is
Now,
history.
Should I just assume is that New York ship? Like, is that?
It's at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, or the former Philadelphia Navy Yard.
Thank you.
Is that going to be a long? I'm not familiar with the area, so is that going to be just a quick cross? Is it going to be what I think it was like 90 miles for the cod to get to dry dock? What are you looking at?
It's only 6 miles from where we are, and that's following the curve of the river. That's not even as the crow flies. However, we probably have to leave our berth at high tide, go under the bridge at low tide, and then go into dry dock at high tide. So it will potentially be a long tow, just not distance-wise.
Okay.
Now, when you think about, I mean, I know you said a few moments ago that you were, kind of collaborating with Travis over at the Texas. For those of you that aren't aware, the Battleship Texas in dry dock. And Travis, I think, I'm not exactly sure what his role over there is, but he appears in a number of videos for the Texas. So now that the New Jersey's announced that it's going to go into dry dock, do you have a lot of people asking you questions? Like, I know the kid wants to get into dry dock. So have you been talking to, like Parks or Tim or anybody about, dry dock questions?
Anybody who asks me about dry docking, I refer to Tim Rizzuto on Slater.
Well,
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah. Slater went into dry dock. What was that? 2014?
And
2021, I believe, is the last time.
What?
2014 and 2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah. We're looking at 2030 for the next one now.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know the Slater went into dry dock in 20.
To work on their mast, right? To work on your mast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then they punched a hole in the bottom of the ship too.
Oh yeah.
I remember the reports about that.
So you don't have a date for dry dock for the New Jersey. I'm assuming you've got a ton of fundraising that has to happen between now and then, correct?
Yeah, the state gave us $5 million. It'll probably cost 10.
Just 10?
The shipyard's given us a very, very good rate. They really want to work with us because when Missouri went in 2009, it was closer to 18, and that's the number we were expecting.
Wow.
And the 10 number is where we were able to go to the state and be like, hey, we can afford this now. With inflation, we will not afford this in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And if correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think the Texas is in dry dock for like 30 million.
A bit more than that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you guys to go into dry dock for 10, you got to be. I mean, it's $10 million. It's still a lot of money, but when the whole scope of thing, you've got to be thrilled with that.
The second we develop a hole in the hull, ours will be 30 as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get in preventatively before that happens.
Yeah.
Does the Battleship currently take on water?
No, she does not. We're very, very fortunate. We've had one leak in the entire history of the museum in one of the blanks that the Navy put over the sea chest in engine room number 3, and they were able to patch that in place.
Okay.
But there's 135 blanks on this ship. The next one could go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Connor, you said that the Alexander Henry does not take on water.
No, she is not.
But the Slater and the 3 at the Buffalo Naval Park, I'm assuming, do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we know about the Sullivans. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Nope. We don't really have any leaks. We used to when we first became a museum with the packing and stuff around the shaft, but that hasn't been an issue in 20 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then Shane, how are things at the Naval Park right now? I mean,
Yes.
obviously, many people know what happened to the Sullivans, but the Sullivans
Yes,
is
of course.
floating right now. So I mean,
Yeah,
but
Sullivan's
what about the
is-
Little Rock?
Little Rock has just a little drip at one of the packing glands at the prop shaft. So that is literally just put a bucket there and it fills up once a month or something, once a month, 2 months. And then we remove it. Everything else is dry. And then we had another puncture like the Sullivans. We had a puncture in the Croaker in her 6A main oil tank and main fuel tank. And ballast tank. And that's been sealed with foam. So that the plan is dry dock for Sullivans, dry dock for Croaker, and then within 10 years or so, dry dock for the Little Rock.
Got it. This is another interesting question here. Any dredging? I know you said you have to wait for tides in order to make this work, but any dredging or anything that needs to happen in order to get the New Jersey into dry dock?
So we sent divers down as part of the planning for this, and we've done it's called a bathygraphic survey of the distance from our ship to the channel, which we know is dredged. I haven't seen the results of the survey yet. At the end of the day, it's silt. We can pull the ship out without dredging. And even if we've got a good berth, we would love to be able to dredge the berth a little deeper while we're in dry dock. The question is, can we line that up in time?
Mm-hmm.
So any dredging that would occur isn't to get the ship to be able to get to dry dock. It's not to clear a path. It's to kind of clean things up while it's gone.
Yes, to make sure that 20 years from now or 30 years from now when we're doing it again, we haven't silted in even more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's actually a really good question because we actually get that one a lot ourselves because where we sit in like a slip in a really shallow bay. So everything around us is 2 to 5 feet. And we're in this slip of about 30, 40 feet at most. So we get asked that question a lot because when we brought her here, from what I was told by my predecessor, that there was actually some concern that it might have been too shallow to take her up where she was. But we have about 10 feet apparently between our lowest point and the bottom of the lake currently.
Ryan, how you doing on time?
I'm good for another 5 minutes or so.
All right. Well, like we were talking a little bit ago, the Battleship New Jersey is looking to get into dry docks. So for those of you that want to support that mission, make sure you check out their website, battleshipnewjersey.org, or check them out on YouTube, Battleship New Jersey. You just put that into the search bar. And I think you guys have a donation tab there on the YouTube channel as well. For those of you that aren't aware, when you donate on YouTube, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the museum. YouTube does not keep anything. So if you want to support the New Jersey, check them out on YouTube or battleshipnewjersey.org. Are there any other?
There's a question. It says, Ryan, has the decision been made to keep New Jersey's screws on?
Oh, good question. That is very much going to depend on what we see when we get the ship out of the water. If we're seeing excessive corrosion in that area, or if we're seeing that there is strain on the propeller shafts because the ship has been touching the bottom for whatever reason, that would galvanize us to spend the extra money to take the screws off. If everything looks fine, my gut is to leave them where they are.
Nice.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, we still have ours, so.
Isn't there a desire as a curator to have one of them on display?
Well, we're very fortunate that we've got one that was removed from the ship in 1968 on display not too far from where we're berthed.
Okay.
But we've got the 4 original to the 80s when we were decommissioned still on there.
Okay.
When you have people checking out the museum, going through the ship, what is one part of the ship or one aspect of the museum? It could be this propeller that you have on display that people seem to gloss over, or it's annoying to you that people just don't really give it the attention that it deserves.
That's a good one. Do you guys have any answers, and then we can come back to me?
So yeah, go ahead. Is the question?
Well, yeah. What I mean, you guys are all all of you guys are curators. You set up, or you catalog, or you even just make note of some aspect of the ship. You discover with this piece of equipment. It's a big deal. People just walk by it; they don't even notice, and it drives. What would that be?
Ooh.
I wish we could get. I wish there's better access to our wing and fin room on the USS Little Rock. Is that if I'm getting that right? Like, is there a space on board that you would like to make more accessible?
No, that is accessible to the tourists, to the public, and they just don't don't pay attention. They don't care. They go right past it.
Because we don't tell the wing and fin space in a good way. So yeah, they're just going to walk by it because it's a little plexiglass window at eye level as they're walking into this huge missile house. So being able to get them to pay a little more attention to that, and that is my job to do that, but maybe also have more accessibility just into the space itself.
What about the Slater, John? Anything that you wish people pay more attention to?
I guess it's probably 2 things. I don't think a lot of people appreciate that destroyers, for the most part, are named after sailors or Marines that were killed in combat generally. So we of course we tell a story of our namesake, but then we move on. I don't think people really appreciate that too much. They're like, oh, okay, the ship is named after someone. And to go along with that, we have a small collection space on board, and it's off the tour route. But we bring people back there, and we'll just talk about destroyer escorts. Not a lot of people are really into that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And all right, Ryan, you've had a few moments to think it over. What do you got?
For me, the biggest thing that grinds my gears is people are upset that the ship doesn't look like she did in World War II. Like, where is that appreciation for the Korean service, the Vietnam service, the Cold War service, and all of the sailors, the majority of her career that served during those times?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's actually a good answer. I didn't expect that one. But it makes a lot of sense because you're going to the museum, preconceived notion, World War II, obviously. Yeah, but then everyone that served since then, like you said, Korea, Vietnam, through the 80s, are getting ignored by that. So the configuration for the battleship on display as it sits right now, obviously, is 1980s, correct?
Yes, our period of interpretation is the late 80s, the early 90s, right before she was decommissioned, because that's the condition the Navy gave us the ship in. We can't go back and change all 1,600 rooms, and we'd be getting rid of original historic fabric and replacing it with like Hollywood prop facsimiles.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. As for me, because I didn't say, I had to agree with John. I'm in a similar boat. The origin of the name of the ship often goes underappreciated, and definitely that aspect as well is there's so much of the history of my own vessel which isn't covered and often just gets glossed over, because it often feels to me like some portions of the vessel are glossed over in the displays we have right now. So because we were aiming for 85 right when the ship was retired, so we're kind of looking at the same thing for us as me focusing a little bit more on the 50s, 60s, 70s. Like most of our photographs of life on the vessel are from the 70s, so people just ignore the stuff that's there right now. So hopefully we can change that in the future.
Yeah, but it sounds like a lot of people show up, they want to see the New Jersey in black and white and not in color. Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way I think of World War II. I want to see a lot of this stuff in black and white, and like in this picture here, yeah, unfortunately, we've got the New Jersey in color. Let's see. Well, go ahead, John.
This
Or
is
Ryan.
all John's fault because they have done an amazing job of backdating Slater from the 90s to how she looked in World War II with the camouflage and everything else.
Oh, gosh.
Why don't you do that on New Jersey?
Right.
No, that's all Tim. Tim. Oh, my God. He's a hoarder. That's a whole nother thing. But
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the Slater is set up, or you guys have the Slater on display just with the thought that it's just pulled into port, it's just tied up in the dock, and then all the personnel have gone ashore, correct?
yeah, and the reason we target spring of 45 is similar to the New Jersey. In May of 45, she got new 40 millimeter Bofors, and we're not going to take those off. So,
Before we let you go, Ryan, you are also, for those of you that aren't aware, Ryan is also executive director of the Hinsa, Historic Naval Ships Association. How in the heck did you become the executive director for Hinsa?
That's a great question. I haven't figured that out myself yet. Because there are some exceptionally more qualified people than me out there who have served as executive directors of museum ships and other similar organizations in the past. I feel extremely underqualified for this job.
Well, and probably this week you're probably swamped because next week the Hinsa conference takes place in Albany, New York, the 18th through the 21st. Yep. And it's an annual event. This year is in Albany. Have you guys picked a location for next year?
Next year, we're going to be in San Diego on USS Midway.
Okay. All right. And
well, let me come to Ryan's defense. I mean,
what's that?
Yeah, this is a big job, and he says he doesn't, but I can see his growing confidence in this job. Yeah, it's a lot to take on, and when he first, maybe a year and a half ago, Ryan, was it when you were when you were chosen and became the executive director 2 years ago, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, I could see the growth in your comfort level of taking on that role.
you should have the YouTube channel.
Look at his early videos to now. He's
I cannot stress this enough. Do not go back and watch any of the early videos. Like first two are dead to me.
Yeah.
Now, I want people to check out the gun barrel video. If you haven't checked out Ryan crawling through the gun barrel, it's worth watching. But with everything that you take on, whether it's New Jersey or with Hinsa, what's your alcohol of choice?
I do not drink.
Oh no, you don't? How,
you say it like it's a bad thing.
how do you cope?
It makes me no fun at parties.
Oh man, no. I mean, once this Hinsa conference is over in Albany, I would be, ordering old fashions one after the other, line them up. So then, all right. So then I have to ask, with everything that's going on, or if you've got a tour that just drives you nuts. I know that you have the Curator tours that probably takes a lot of your time. What do you do at the end of the day in order to unwind? Or when the Hinsa conference is over, what are you taking a week-long vacation? What are you doing?
My guilty pleasure is the plastic crack. I like to build Lego models.
There
No
you go.
kidding.
Did you say Lego?
Yeah, look at that thing. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
Oh God, Lego Sam is gonna go crazy.
Well, I should say building blocks. This is it's by a Polish company that makes a compatible building block product. They're called Kobe.
Look at that.
Interesting.
This one is about 2,500 pieces. Took 8 hours to build.
And that relaxes you. It doesn't actually create more stress.
It gets me out of my own head.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, as a side note, I can attest to how that actually is relaxing because I have one too. Actually, I have two of them.
Is that the original Warspite or the re-release?
That's the original.
Nice.
Wait, what is that?
It's Warspite.
Oh, okay, it is. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
And did you guys? Now I'm curious. Do you get them from like the same company? Is there a company that, or all kinds of different companies that do this?
I think they're both Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get mine from a local model shop. I'm not sure where Ryan would get his from.
I have to buy them online and then wait for them to ship over here.
What other? I mean, now what other Lego models have you done?
I grew up on the Lego Adventurer sets. Thought I was going to be an archaeologist for a while. But I've got a bunch of Kobe kits, Bismarck, Yamato, New Jersey, Enterprise.
Oh, the Enterprise is sitting in the model shop. I've been tempted, but I can't excuse the price tag just right now.
What? How expensive? How are these? I'm assuming they're pretty pricey. How much are they?
I want to say this one was about $250. You pay about 10 cents a brick.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, all right. At least you're able to unwind some way. If it's not drinking, it's Legos. Got it. Any questions you guys wanted to hit Ryan with before we let him go? Obviously, you're all going to be able to spend some time with him next week at the Hinsa conference in Albany, 18th through the 21st. But hit him with a question now before we have to let him go.
Why do you say Albany?
What?
I gotta ask it now. Why do you say Albany?
Because I live in Minneapolis. What
Ryan. Ryan says Albany.
How's it supposed to be said?
Good question, Ryan. Give him hell.
Albany.
I know, what the hell, John? I mean, it's probably just his accent or whatever, his dialect. Albany.
How do you say it?
We say Albany.
Oh, ALL.
Albany.
Well, that's how
Oh,
I
I'm
say
saying
it.
Albany.
Yeah.
I'm saying Al.
John, how do you say Albany?
Albany.
Okay, so Ryan, how does Ryan say it? I mean, come on, we're making fun of it.
But now I'm super self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
I know.
I also call my hometown Balmer.
And what is it? Oh,
What is it
Baltimore?
supposed to be? Oh, Baltimore.
I didn't know where you were from.
That's
Okay.
like New Orleans. That's like New Orleans and Missouri and
Just northern that certain dialect.
way to insult the guest, John. Thank you. Yeah.
Why the hell do you say Albany? Oh my God.
I sit backstage for 6 months and then I have to endure this.
Oh, I love it. That's great. No, I look forward to seeing you and John and Connor. Are you going to be there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I look forward to
Look forward to
seeing you, Ryan, and look forward to some great presentations and mingling and to see what other people do and they've been doing for the past year.
Definitely. And yeah, for those of you that aren't familiar with Ryan, like I said at the beginning of the video, be sure to check out their website, battleshipnewjersey.org, to learn more about the New Jersey, the history of the New Jersey, but most interestingly, YouTube. search bar on YouTube, type in Battleship New Jersey, and you're going to see Ryan's face come right up. He is pretty much the lead. He'll lead you through most of the videos. It's interesting content. And as I said, during the pandemic, I was riveted. So it's great to finally meet you, man. Thanks for joining us. And, happy to have you here. Is there anything else that you wanted us to promote before we let you go and talk behind your back?
No, I'll be sitting backstage next week.
All right. Well, thanks for. Real quick before I let you go, the USS Kidd is kind of a serious question. Also going into dry dock, or at least planning to go into dry dock. Tim Nesbitt, Park Stevenson. Which one's more annoying, Tim or Parks?
I've only met Tim in person. I haven't met Parks in person. I'll meet him next week.
Yeah, but you know him by reputation, right? I mean, come on.
Tim is great. I love talking to Tim. We were on the phone a couple weeks ago and he's like, okay, I'm at the Burger King line, so I got to go. He's just so Southern, I guess. I don't know.
Shout out to Tim Nesbitt. Yeah, he's great. Got to love Tim. Parks too. Parks isn't so bad. I think he's been to the Titanic once or twice. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover for Ryan so he doesn't actually have to answer that question.
No, we don't let him go. Yeah. So no, which one? You got to pick one, Ryan.
Do I have 2 minutes to tell a story?
Yeah, sure. No. Yeah, no. We're gonna be on for another hour and a half. We're not gonna put you through that. So yeah, you got time.
Okay. I absolutely cannot stand Park Stevenson, even though I haven't met him yet. His email address.
It is
executive director at Kidd. Mine is executive director at Hinsa. So it seems like sometimes when people are emailing one of us, they type it in and it just auto completes and they send it to the wrong one.
Oh no!
That's hilarious.
So he and I and all the other executive directors at this conference are going to have it out. We haven't decided if it's going to be a Thunderdome style thing where we all enter the ring at once, or if we're going to do like Highlander and have a bracket.
Parks is a pretty tall guy. He's ex-Navy too.
He's very tall, yeah.
Yeah, he might give you a run for your money, even though you're a lot younger. Wait, how old are you? How old a guy are you, by the way?
Born in 1990.
Right. Okay, so I find this is also something that's very interesting. So Connor, John, Ryan, you guys are all in your 30s.
I'm
29.
Not in my 30s yet.
Oh wait, I thought so. Wait, John, you're 29.
I'm 28.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. So that proves my point even more. All right. So you've got this younger. It's way overdue. A younger generation, basically, not just coming to visit, but also to participate in the maintenance of these museum ships. I say maintenance, maintaining these museum ships for display. And that's got to be a huge challenge for all of you guys. I mean, Shane and I, we're older, obviously, obviously. Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. Sorry, Shane, but I'm the oldest here, and there's got to be a new crowd coming in. How do you cultivate that?
Well, listen, I was not here. I think I can help maybe answer that. I was not in this world beforehand, right? I was working at another museum that's not ship related or naval related. I had no idea the amount of passion that starts when Ryan says he was a 4-year-old wanting to crawl through a barrel, or Connor making models, or just the hundreds of people that I meet just saying, I've loved these since I was 8 years old. Like, I had no idea the amount of passion that if someone has a ship in their blood, how deep that goes. It goes right to the bone marrow. It's astounding. And I think there's that built in. It's built in. It just is harnessing that in the right way, for me at least.
What do you think, Ryan? How do you continue to get younger people involved?
We just have to have a place for them to go. They get interested on their own. One of my coworkers or peers, Frank Thompson at Naval History and Heritage Command, calls it the disease. And unfortunately, there is no known cure for it. All we have to do is make room for those people to have a seat at the table, and they will find us.
Got it. All right. Well, go ahead, Connor. Was that you?
Yeah, I had to agree with Ryan. That's actually happened probably 3 or 4 times this year alone. We've had young people who are interested in museums who then decide to start working with us to get a taste for it, and they seemingly get hooked. So that's actually happened. So I would agree with him completely.
It's the disease.
It is the disease.
Well, Ryan Szimanski, thanks for joining us tonight. Ryan is, I was going to say curator, but your title is now VP of.
It's too long. I'm the curator.
Right. Ryan Szimanski, curator, Battleship New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey. Be sure to visit them on their website, battleshipnewjersey.org. Battleship New Jersey, search for that on YouTube. And I failed to mention, but we've also got a donation tab on the History X YouTube channel. The New Jersey is going to be planning, or is planning, to go into dry dock. Costs $10,000 a day to keep this museum running. Anything helps. I'm assuming you're not going to turn anything down. So do what you can to support the Battleship New Jersey. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it,
Thank
Ryan.
you for finally letting me on. I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Yeah. We're going to now talk behind your back, and you have a good evening. All right.
Good night.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see here. Let's get into what you guys have going on. Of course, you're all going to be seeing him next week, but John and Connor, you haven't actually met. Right. Shane's met him. Shane's met him.
Did you just drop?
This away.
He just wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
Wait.
Sorry,
did Connor drop his model?
No.
Oh.
I was trying to put it away.
You're going to do that right now. That's great. Okay. All right.
All right, I'm done.
Let's see. So what was I gonna?
No, Connor and I have not met Ryan.
No.
Okay, but Shane, you've met him a couple different times.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone. This will be my fourth.
Mm-hmm.
This will be my fourth conference, so I've met him all 4 times. And then he's been to the Naval Park, and yeah.
Who from Buffalo's coming out next week, Shane?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of our staff. We have Courtney, who's our community engagement director. Paul, our president and CEO, he would naturally be going, and he'll be there for the executive directors meeting on Monday. And then Stephen and myself, and then Bill Abbott, I think he's the director of operations. He'll be there for 1 day.
Okay.
Got it. Let's see. So let's get into what you guys got going on currently. So Shane Stevenson, curator, Buffalo Naval Park, Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park. What's going on?
Yeah, it's our season's, now Labor Day's over. So during the week, we're not as busy. And so I'm trying to catch up with stuff. It's really pretty difficult. But we have, let's see, the September 30th is the 80th anniversary of the Sullivans. So we were in a long meeting today planning out how that's going to go. We also have the USS Oklahoma City Association coming for a reunion. And that will be in 2 weekends. And so that will be nice to have all those guys from a sister ship, CLG 5, roaming around our CLG 4. So those are the 2 biggest things, the conference, and then, working the wheels to get that artifact from South Bend, Indiana, which I'm really excited about. So that would be the following week after we get back from Albany.
The artifact from South Bend, is that the missile?
I don't know. I can't remember.
What?
I can't remember. We'll be releasing it we'll be releasing it as time gets closer. It's something that needs a flatbed truck though. So
Yeah.
Well, that's annoying. So,
I never said I was not annoying.
well, so then can I ask you about the other thing behind the restaurant?
Yeah, what's up? The what?
Periscope. The Periscope.
Oh, the Periscope. Oh, yeah, sorry, behind the restaurant. That is, yes, I spoke to the restaurant. They're like, come on, get it whenever you want. It just is a matter of, yes, thank you, Michael. Exactly. I can neither confirm or deny that it's a Talos missile with a booster and wing and wings. I don't know. But yeah, that's ready to go it's 40 feet long, about 2,000 pounds. So it's not anything Steven and I could just go pick up and put in a U-Haul and bring it back. So it's gonna need a little work, but that will be ready to, we'll be working on that over the winter probably. And then come spring is maybe when we'll go and get that.
Okay.
And did the restaurant know they had a submarine periscope behind their building?
No, they had no clue at all. And they've confirmed it and said, it's yours. We were worried, there might be a little pushback from them to say, oh, we've got something of value here. Let's open it up to the public, maybe another museum ship. But he, at least from our 2 conversations, was like, nope, it's yours. Come and get it. We're okay with it. Cool. And so we would just have to get, the forklift and, we would have to pay for the associated things to get it out of their ground. But yeah, that's a really exciting thing. And then depending on the condition, I've spoken to a few people that concur that if I think it's deteriorated enough to where it wouldn't be all 40 feet, the optics are probably broken. So I'm planning, at least as of now, to potentially cutting it in half and putting the top half back into the conning tower of the Croaker.
Okay.
As opposed to keeping it solid.
So, and have you been there in person?
To Groton, Connecticut?
Yeah.
No, I have not yet.
Okay, so you don't know if this thing's like covered up in dirt or.
Well, I've seen photographs. It's like half buried.
Is it?
So if it's a diameter or something like that, like half of it, it's the ground is beginning to grow around it, but you still can see maybe 40% of it just from looking down.
Pretty amazing.
So there's some dents. There's a gash, a couple inch gash in it. So I'm thinking that it was, for me, to get it back on in some way, shape, or form onto the Croaker is the important thing. And if it's already taken enough damage to where I feel comfortable having it cut, I'm willing to do that. We also have a periscope of unknown origin, the full periscope. So if we wanted to do something with that, like use it in the building or use it as a teaching tool, we do have a full periscope of unknown origin. So.
Got anything else you want to promote at the Buffalo Naval Park?
Man, just the 80th. We're doing that thing with the kid and Cass and Young, so it's going to be a very busy day next Saturday.
That's Saturday, September 30th, right?
Yes, the 30th. We're doing cake cutting, all that stuff, in person, and then we're doing another YouTube session with. Are you involved in that?
No one's involved me, but I think I'll involve myself.
Okay. With Kid and Cass and Young.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you guys want to keep me out of it, that's fine, I guess.
No. Well, then who the hell's the host of it? We haven't done it since April.
Yeah.
It is you, isn't it?
I just let me know. I'm available is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
All right. So to learn more about the Buffalo Naval Park, check out their YouTube channel and simply search for Buffalo Naval Park. It's going to come right up. Lots of interesting stuff. Very similar style that Ryan does in the Battleship New Jersey. Shane goes all over the place. So check that out. And do you want me to mention the members only section?
Yeah, sure. If you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. So and what's cool, Buffalo Naval Park also has a members only section. You'll see some special videos just for members of their YouTube channel. It's still only $5 to join. I joined. I enjoy it. Check it out. So the Buffalo Naval Park's members only section. You can also check out their website, buffalonavalpark.org. John Epp, curator at the USS Slater in Albany, New York. What's going on?
I'm gonna regret that.
Why is
No.
that? Is it really an issue? You know, I know people in New Orleans.
I was
'cause
just
see
curious. I've never heard
New Orleans-
anyone say Albany that way. I was just
So
curious.
well, how does he say it? Albany?
It's
doubting myself
it's
now.
supposed to be Albany. I mean, it's just like us getting frustrated with how people pronounce Minneapolis.
How do they say it?
Minneapolis.
Well, then what do you say?
Minneapolis.
Oh, so then I say Minneapolis. So how would you get frustrated with me if I'm saying it the way you're saying it?
I don't. We're not picky here, you know. So there's only one way to pronounce Minneapolis. It's not like New Orleans, anything like that. So in Albany, New York, what's going on, John?
We got a little shindig next week. A
Something
couple
coming
people
up
going to
next
show
week,
up.
yeah. Mhm.
I think we're expecting 130 people, something like that.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, but these aren't going to
Um,
be your regular tourists. You've got 130 basically Naval Military Museum fanatics.
Yeah.
So how does that is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, when it comes to preparation.
It's a great thing.
Well, of course it's a great thing, but then you're going to have a lot of people wanting like in-depth discussions and to see stuff maybe you're not prepared to show. So have you had to go into late night hours getting stuff ready?
No.
No?
Actually, I left 15 minutes early today. No, the ship, she's 100% open. Wherever anyone come next week, wherever they want to go, they can go. We'll have some of our tour guides coming in, working overtime and answer questions and things like that. But no, the ship will be fully open. No restrictions as far as I'm aware. There's actually going to be a couple hands-on parts of the conference on the ship if people are interested in that. In terms of what I've been doing, trying to organize the collection to make it look good for the Shanes of the world, the curators, because we're having to compete with the big boys. We don't have the storage space that some other ships have, or the resources. So, trying to make it look nice at the very least.
And you guys also around this time you start to kick off your overnights, right?
Yes, we generally don't do overnights June through August because it's way too hot. We did have an overnight last Saturday into Sunday, but they were chiefs and chief selects the state aboard, so they were used to the heat and whatnot.
Well, I saw you had that one on board. You gave him the honor of being in the captain's cabin.
That's our Sunday tour guide, Chief Art Dot. He's retired. He's been with the Slater since she opened '97. He basically came for a tour, and Tim shoved an application in his hand, and he's been there ever since. So we thought it fitting to give him the captain's stateroom last weekend.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did have to put the picture of the captain. He turned it around to face the wall so he wouldn't be looking at him while he was sleeping. Other than the Hinsa conference next week, it's definitely slowed down. Like Shane has said, it's almost dead on some days, which is nice sometimes. But last but not least, first week of October is our fall work week. It's similar to our spring work week, except it's much smaller. Generally, we don't have as many people signing up for that, but if anyone wants to, you're welcome to reach out to us.
And
I
where
gotta
would they be?
thank the guys from Slater who were just here in Buffalo again over the weekend.
Oh, you had a couple of people there?
Yeah, we had Barry and then
Okay.
his team as well. George, I met George for the first time.
George,
Yeah, he has long hair.
bigger guy?
Yeah, like tall or whatever. Yeah.
George Collis?
Yeah, he just said, "Hey, I'm George. I wanted to meet you." So I said, "Hey, George." So I didn't get his full name.
Are you sure he was with us? He was just some random guys like, oh, hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I know John F.
We get that too, no doubt, as you do, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
no, he was with the Slate. He was hanging around with Barry. So
Good.
If somebody wants to volunteer for that work week in October, how do they do that?
They just reach out to us, call us up, shoot us an email.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, you got to have some skills.
Well,
Things like that.
I mean, not like, I mean, it could be as simple as painting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So don't make it sound like it's, only for the most qualified. If you can scrape metal, you're qualified.
I'm trying to say it in a nice way, like you got to be trustworthy.
Mhm.
Well, don't steal stuff. I guess is what it boils down to,
You'd
right?
be surprised, man. People steal things.
What's the last thing that was stolen off the Slater?
Actually, it's possible that we had some officers' caps stolen. Hats. Stolen
Really?
I don't think they were stolen, but there weren't any where I thought there were. But it's also possible someone had moved them.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope that's the case.
Someone stole a compass when we first opened.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, they broke into our pilot house and stole the entire compass binnacle, I think.
Yeah,
And then someone stole a doorknob.
a doorknob.
Well, the thing that we have to solve this coming year for us is a no backpack policy, which has not been successful. With most of the things that are out on our ship are big. So if someone's walking around with something like a helmet or hats, we would see that, right? So the ingress and egress, and also a no backpack policy. So we've got to get lockers off the ship. Not that we're saying they have them on the ship, but somewhere off the ship where they would like a bus stop, where they take the key and then it locks automatically. And then that would solve a lot of the issues, I think, because now they don't have anywhere to put anything. So,
yeah, we've almost never really had any issues because the main thing is you do not go aboard the Slater unless you have a tour guide with you.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
oh yeah, okay. All right.
So that definitely helps on that. That actually reminds me. Is it the Hazard in is it Oklahoma? No, Nebraska. I
Okay.
believe they've been having a lot of vandalism issues. Like spray painting. And...
I haven't heard about that, but
what are these parks out there? It's
although I have no word of a lie, there actually is a video on YouTube of guys trespassing. I know they have a trespassing problem.
But we do too.
Yeah.
Over the years, we have had one.
Yeah.
We've never really had that issue. We've had a couple people like drunks wander on the ship during an overnight. That was weird, but
They got on the ship in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we had an overnight on board, so
Oh.
luckily we have you post a fire watch. Someone's always awake. They happened to see them. They thought we were open, but they were drunk. How did we start talking about this? I have no idea.
I don't know. I like this comment by Frank. A 20 millimeter Bofors. I always make the comment. It's like if I get on the ship, I'm going to steal a torpedo. But with my luck, I'd probably end up dropping it and make a lot of noise. But that's what I want. And that no backpack policy, I don't think would stop me.
I like the idea of a no backpack policy. Although we have I'm sorry, something just came to my mind. I can't say it just yet. But we were in a similar situation to Slater, where you can't go aboard without a tour guide. So.
Yeah, we just can't do that.
All your stuff is self-guided, right?
Yeah, I would love to do that, but it's just the ships are too big, the tours are too long, and in the summertime during the week we'd have 250 people a day, and then on the weekends we have 450, 500 people a day.
Shane, what's your visitorship for the season? Generally, like average?
Like for the whole season, or just like I would say we're getting back to pre-COVID levels, so I would say we're at about 40. We're at about probably 40,000 visitors, and then just events, you'd add about another 5,000, 7,000 people. So I would say 47,000 with everything, parties, overnights, things like that. But yeah, I mean, for the month of July and August, we were at about 11,000 visitors for the month for each of those months, if I'm remembering right. So
Well, that goes into another reason we have that policy is we don't have that visitorship. Our best season in 20 years was like just shy of 16,000 total for the season.
mhm.
So, we can afford to have tour guides on hand to do it.
Yeah, and the
If we had
COVID, that's what I know. I mean,
Yeah, if we had like 50,000 people like you each season, I don't think we'd be able to do guided tours.
yeah.
Shane, have you, and I've been to your office on the Little Rock, have you had anyone on a tour just kind of like walk by and maybe even into your office?
Every day.
Really?
Every day. Or the door will be shut and someone just walks right in because it's a door that's shut that they try to unlock, and then they come in. And so I have this pet phrase that I'm a real life dummy because they see a lot of mannequins before they see me. So I slowly move like in a
Where's your office located?
I'm right on Admiral's Passageway. So someone comes from down below Little Rock, they come, and then now you're walking into the superstructure. I'm right as they go right in from the weather door, right where the Admiral's quarters is. The office was the chief of staff for the Admiral for the 3-star. So, yeah, I mean, every day people come in my office.
You have a lock on the door, right? I mean, because you have
I do.
lock.
Like if I'm not in there, I usually lock it, even if I'm just going to be gone for 3 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, people will try it. So, oh, it's a door. I didn't know it was private or whatever, So,
Oh,
so
you
I
guys
just
have
say,
to
oh,
hire
listen.
security? I'm sorry. I just saw that comment.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
John Radins?
Here, let's pull this up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. John Radins is one of our docents. So he's
okay.
intimately involved. So he says, vandalism in our gardens and plants. Now I have to spend budget for overnight security, worry that they don't. Yeah. We do have overnight security now, like from 8 to 4. Certainly it's going down now because of school and things like that. But yeah, I mean, we get, packs of kids roaming around at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And, just like I would have done as a teenager, sneak out of the house or whatever and wander around. So, yeah, it's something we've always had. We've always had people coming on board. All right. So we've always had that. I've been there for 5 years. We installed the camera. Every third night, people are climbing over our fences and just walking around. Now,
Wait.
What?
Okay, so I've been there.
Yeah.
Are you saying they're climbing? They're not climbing over that big gated thing to get onto the Little Rock, are you?
No, to get onto the Sullivans, they climb over the gate.
They climb over that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I get it. A lot of people probably have not been to the Buffalo Naval Park, but what Shane is describing, that's not easy to do.
No,
Okay.
it's not, but it's much easier when the canvas is not up, the overhead canvas.
Yeah.
So you just climb onto the thing and you're going to be over the water for a little bit, right? And that's kind of how we have it set up, is like you will be, if something slips, you'll fall into the Buffalo River. Yeah, it's for the enterprising person. It's for parkourers or whatever they're called. It's just a challenge. And I have always, I don't want to, but they're not tagging anything. They're not getting into the ship. They're just roaming around for an hour or two and then they leave.
Yeah.
Right. I understand we're looking to solve things, and, we're working with security firms right now, and we did receive a rather large grant to try. I mean, you're seeing an overhead of our space.
Yeah.
So people are walking along the trees, and then you'll see the ramps and the gangs up to the ships and stuff like that. So it's a challenge for people, and that's what they like, right? So
yeah,
That's a shame.
I mean,
it's
ultimately,
a shame, but it's at least it stops at there's no graffiti. He said he's not they aren't tagging anything. There's no graffiti. That, I mean, I don't want to hear about anyone roaming, climbing a fence and getting on a ship, but at least in some crazy part of my mind, at least they aren't, spray painting anything.
Yeah, they're not getting into the ship, and they're not doing any damage. I think just 15-year-olds at 2:00 in the morning in the dead of summer are like, wow, this would be really cool, right?
Mhm.
Like, I was like that. I didn't
Yeah.
climb on ships, but I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm out late at, and it's just a thing to do, I guess, So I've been on board when people have been roaming around, like, because I'm sleeping on board or whatever. So that's happened 2 or 3 times where I catch people on board, and I have to be, now I have to be, for myself and for my safety, I have to be a little, patient with them, and just kind of watch them from a distance and seeing if they were doing anything, which they didn't, other than wandering around, then I would have had to have said something. But I can follow them around in a way that they don't know I'm able to follow them, which is nice. So
You know the ship better than they do, right?
yeah.
Got it. Well, let's get back to John at the Slater. Anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, sorry, John.
No, we got sidetracked.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I always find that stuff interesting. It's unfortunate, but it's
no, I don't think there's much else.
Well, then,
Really looking forward to next week. I look forward to the program and what we have planned, and
it'll be fun.
it will be great to meet you finally, John. We have not met, and to see Tim and Shanna again. It will be very nice. I'm looking forward to it.
and you guys are going to be posting videos during the week too, right?
No,
No.
I'm not making videos. You kidding me?
Steven and I might.
Maybe. Okay. So check out their Facebook page. How about that? You're going to be posting pictures?
Yeah, there'll be pictures every day on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, Shane, when are you folks rolling in?
We're rolling in Monday afternoon, so we'll be there for the initial check-in and then that meet and greet at night. John, this will be your first conference?
First Hinsa conference, yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so like that, or that first night meet and greet, and then I think everything picks up on Tuesday. So we'll be there. We're figuring around 3 or 4. But that doesn't mean you might not be available. Like, we'll be at the hotel, and then or you'll be at the meet and greet, I assume.
John's not going to be busy. He's not going to have anything to do.
Making packets or whatever.
No,
right?
I'll probably be helping check people in at the hotel that afternoon.
He'll be making.
John, you realize I'm a hugger, man, so I'm going to go in for a hug when I see you, because we've.
Oh,
Wait, you didn't hug me when we met in Chicago. You didn't hug me when I was there.
I did. I'm a hugger, man. I did it to Ryan when he was here filming for his channel. I said, Ryan, bring it in. And he was just like, So that's kind of why I do it, because I know it maybe makes some people really tense.
Oh,
but I hugged all of them, Ken and
maybe I just won't shower for the rest of the week.
Yeah, John's looking for it to
because I'd
turn.
like to see that initial reaction of like, "Hey, bro, bring it in," and I'm like, okay. I love it. It's great,
John,
but no, it's all good. It will be
John,
great to
shoot me a
meet you.
text. Shoot me a text. Let me know how that goes.
Connor, are you a hugger?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
He'll fist bump or something.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So for those of you that want to learn more about the USS Slater, check out ussslater.org. Of course, their YouTube channels. Simply on the search bar, enter USS Slater, and you'll come up with their videos. We've been talking about the Hinsa conference that's going to be there next week in Albany. They got a lot going on. Moving on to Connor Kilgore, the newly minted curator, right?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
At the Alexander Henry, the Thunder Bay. No. TMTB.ca. What the hell does that stand for?
You asked it every episode.
Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay.
Thank you. Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay. All right. So what's going on at the Alexander Henry?
All right. Well, since we let me know if my connection's a little shaky.
It's a little shaky, but you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Since our last event, we had an event we hold called Coast Guard Day, where we celebrate the Canadian Coast Guard. Originally, it was just going to be we were going to have our vessel, obviously, and we were going to have representatives from both the Royal Canadian Navy Reserve that's celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, as well as the Coast Guard. Obviously, it's their day. But we ended up with we ended up with 3 other vessels. We had CCGS Samuel Risley, which was the ship that replaced Henry in the fleet. So their crew was in attendance. We had the fisheries research vessel, Kelso, which also was in attendance. And then we also had the local search and rescue craft, Cape Chatham, in attendance. We ended up with 4 vessels, and it ended up just looking absolutely spectacular. And I believe I sent pictures to you guys at the time. And then after that, we ran through the rest of our season, and it's very similar to John. It has slowed down considerably. We're probably doing 4 tours a day now, so it has very much slowed down. And we're rounding up to the end of the season. Now, in starting about 2 weeks on the 28th, the last weekend of September, we're going to be starting our Haunted Harbor event, which is basically we turn the 2 lower decks of the ship into a haunted house. And we've partnered with the charity Our Kids Count to do this event this year. I'm not sure what the ticket numbers are right now, but if it's anything like last year, then we probably are sold out already. But I don't know yet if that is the case. We'll find out soon. But then after the last week of October, we close down, and we stay closed until after the May long weekend, and then we reopen. So we're just about near the end of our season. We're not like those guys down south who can run all year round. Mm-hmm. And we have no heating and no AC units, so that's not a possibility for us either. And then for me personally, Hinsa. That's my big thing to wrap out the season is the conference. I can't wait.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys will have a
lot to talk about once it's over. Yeah. And just as a side note, my dad is tagging along as well, so there will be 2 of us here.
I've met your dad. Pretty cool guy.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. All right, so that's Connor Kilgore with the Canadian Coast Guard icebreaker Alexander Henry on display at the Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay, www.tmtb.ca. How'd I do?
Yep, you did great. And I actually added a banner.
Nice. All right. Excellent. And then the other thing I want to mention is Connor is also one of the administrators of the Museum Ships Facebook group. So if you're already a member of that Facebook group, here's Connor. He's one of your administrators. Make sure you say hi. But more importantly, check out their Facebook group. I'd say between 10 and 15 posts a day go up there that are pretty interesting. So if you haven't joined the group already and you like this kind of content, definitely check out the Museum Ships Facebook group. Anything else you want to promote, Connor?
Not really. I'll see you guys all at the conference. Well, except you, Ken. But I'll see you guys at the conference, and I can't wait. It should be exciting as long as I can get out of Toronto safely. I should make it sometime between 6 and 8 o'clock, sometime in that range. And that's simply because of what time the flights are and stuff like that. So I'll be a little late.
Well, you guys enjoy the conference, and I definitely want to say thanks to everyone tuning in tonight. Thank you to Ryan Szimanski of the Battleship New Jersey. What's that?
For serious this time.
Yeah. No, it was great having him on. This time we did not have to bump him. So we definitely want to appreciate his appearance. Thanks to Ryan for joining us. Check out the Battleship New Jersey at battleshipnewjersey.org. You can also check out their YouTube content, which is phenomenal. Simply search for Battleship New Jersey in the search bar, and you're going to see Ryan all over the place. If there isn't anything else, guys, I just want to say, like I started off saying a few moments ago, thanks to the viewers. We can't do this without you. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. And make sure you support the Buffalo Naval Park and the USS Slater, their YouTube channels. It's one of the simplest yet effective ways to support them by simply clicking like and subscribe. So continue to grow their subscribers.
Ken, you can plug yourself.
What's that?
You can plug yourself.
Well, It's all about
do we
you
want
guys.
him to do that? Yeah, do we want him to do that? I don't know.
But and you can also check out my content on History X, the History X YouTube channel.
There we go.
Had a video go up at 6 o'clock that I think now is already approaching 4,000 views. So it went up an hour and a half ago. It's at 4,000. So if you're 3,400. So if you're at all interested in the B-29 bomber, the Keybird, that's all I'm going to say about it. Check that out. History X. Like to have you over there. Always want new subscribers. And just thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Anything else?
Nope.
We'll maybe John and I and Connor will do a live one, and we'll bring you in as a guest.
Well, that would be great. Typically we do these the second Wednesday. We do that second Wednesday of the month, but as Shane pointed out, September 30th, there could also be another live stream, which is a Saturday. So keep an eye out for that as well. If there's anything I can post about that, you'll see it in the community tab.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and everyone have a good evening. And we are out of here.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.